Okay, so I am so excited to be able to bring this video to you guys today. I wanted to talk about all of the Karens that we deal with in the workplace, especially if you do retail. I have so many stories for you guys today, and I think it is so funny. So starting off, yesterday, I think it was yesterday, the other day, I was working at, both ends, how I usually am. If you guys did not know, I'm in charge of all of the cashiers and lot associates during my shift. So basically anytime I work, I'm in charge and I have to run everything smoothly. So I was at the service desk and I was helping I was helping customers. I was giving breaks over there. So, just to kind of catch you up on that. So this customer who I've been dealing with a really long time, he's a contractor. He came through and I was like, hey, how are you doing today? And he was like, great, Rylan, what's going on today? And I'm like, nothing much. And he had this lady with him. He was doing a job for her, obviously. And, I had kind of had some conversation with the woman too. And she seemed very, very sweet. But, as we're talking, I'm quickly realizing how much of a pain in the ass she is. I literally had scanned all the stuff, and she was like, oh, this is way more expensive than it was supposed to be. And she looked at the contractor. The contractor was like, yeah, I kind of told you it was going to be this much. And, I could tell that there was some tension there, but I had really never, And at the next point, she literally looks at me and she's like, my phone number. I need you to put my phone number in. And I said, yes, ma'am, please hit the green button on the pin pad and you can put your phone number in. And she basically looks at me again. She's like, oh, so you can't do it? And I said, no, ma'am, you're going to have to do it on the pin pad. I could do it, but at the same time, I making them put it on the pin pad because that's so much more easier. I'm not going to sit here and be like, what's your phone number? Because people will say their phone number so easily, so fast. And I'll be like, hey, I need you to be a little slower because, I need to make sure I get this right. And at this point, she just, is getting more and more irritating to me. So she puts in her phone number. She literally forgets a number and is, hitting the green button 4 times. And I literally told her, I was like, hey, hit the yellow button and let's try again because you missed a number. And she was like, and basically had done it. And me and him are just looking at each other at this point. And I'm like, okay, whatever. Anyway, it came up for a job number and she was like, Rogers. How do you spell Rogers? The universal way to spell Rogers is Rodgers. I spelled it like that and I hit enter and I just didn't think anything of it and she saw it. And so she noticed that I had put it like that. And this is the most hilarious thing to me of all time because she literally looks at me and she starts screaming, she starts cussing and stuff like that. And I'm like, what? You know what I mean? Who are you talking to? So she starts screaming and everything like that. And I was just like, what's the problem? And she's like, you spelt my name wrong. She's like, everybody wants to put a D in Rogers. I don't understand it. It's literally, there's no D. Just went on this 5 to 10 minute tangent. And I'm just sitting there. At this point, it's the end of the day and I just don't give a shit. And if it's an actual problem, if you're having an actual problem, cool. But this is so unnecessary. And the contractor is literally just looking at her embarrassed and is like, hey, it doesn't matter. The kicker of it all, it wasn't even her phone number that she's putting in. It was his to locate his stuff. I had done his checkout yesterday and his PO was Rogers and I had put it like this too. And he said nothing about it. So he's just looking at me and he's just like, I'm sorry. And I'm like, it's good, whatever. And I look at her and I'm like, it doesn't really matter. Because it didn't. It really does not matter. It's such a weird thing to get mad over. And at this point, I had some customers behind her and I'm on both registers, popping back and forth. And I can hear her talking shit on me to this guy. And the guy was literally defending me. And I just look at her and I give her a receipt and I'm like, have the day you deserve. Because what? First of all, she literally at this point had went on a 20-minute tangent about how I spelled her name wrong. And people spell my name wrong all the time. Rylam might seem so easy to people, but people don't spell it right at all, ever. Never have. And I've never gotten that mad over it. Like, best believe I have never in my life have ever gotten that mad, and I think that it is so hilarious. Like, there are people that are dying, you know what I mean? Nevertheless, she left and I never saw her again. I think I actually saw her maybe a few days later. Okay, so another really hilarious experience that I went through in customer service. I called this lady the vacuum lady. I've probably talked about this somewhere on this channel. However, so basically, if anybody knows, once November starts, my job has so many deals on so many random things. And we were running a lot of vacuum cleaner deals. So there was a lot of vacuum cleaners that were on sale. Now, some sales were better than others, and, you know, people get very, very confused on sales ads and things like that because a lot of times they don't know how to read it, like, say, how I would be able to read it because I'm trained to know how to read it. So I can always understand something, but basically one of my cashiers was looking at me and calling me over, so I had walked up and basically was like, you know, what's the problem? Like, how can I help? And the lady starts going off on me and basically so rude. And she's just like, this vacuum is supposed to be on sale, like, and it's not, like, give me the deal, yada, yada, yada. And I immediately look at it and notice that it's not the right vacuum cleaner, like, at all. This is the vacuum cleaner that has, like, a battery, a charger, everything else. And I'm just like, that's not it. Like, it's just the vacuum that's on sale. So I told her, I was like, yes, ma'am, like, this is the wrong vacuum, but I will go grab you the right one. And she was like, she literally looked at me and she goes, this is the vacuum. And I said, no, ma'am, it is not. And so I basically walk over and grab the vacuum and I bring the vacuum up and I scan the vacuums and show her that they are literally different. They have different SKUs, like, they're literally different. At this point, she starts arguing with me, saying that no, like, this is the one, like, that's not it, like, still. So what I did then, I was like, yes, ma'am, this is. I got my cashier to ring it up, and it rang it up for the deal. And she was, like, kind of just not talking to me at this point. Like, she just kind of went back to my cashier and was just like, you know, this, that, and the other. Y'all are doing a switch and bait, like, this isn't as good of a deal. And I looked at her and I said, for $50 more, you can get this battery, the charger, and the battery. For this one, you can get the deal and just get the vacuum. Like, do what you please. You know what I mean? Like, do what you please. And at some point, she, like, were trying to say the vacuums were the same or something like that. And then she started arguing with me that there was a dog on one and not on the other. Like, it was so weird, and I was just like, okay. And eventually it got to the point where her husband literally looked at her and goes, you need to shut the fuck up. Like, I thought it was so funny. This man literally clocked her tea so hard. I thought that was so hilarious. Like, your own husband is literally telling you that you're acting absolutely insane. Like, that happens more than you would think. And, you know, hopefully there's not more going on there, and he's like the one that's driving her crazy. So we're just gonna hope for the best for her. You know what I mean? Like, such a small problem, but, like, you could have been so, you know what I mean? Like, it could have been so different, you know? And I get it. You wanted that other vacuum and whatever else. It was only like $50 more, and you got 2 more things with it. I don't think that's that's a steal, honestly. Either vacuum's a steal. However, literally earlier in that day, though, I will say, so whenever these sales go on, a lot of people, if a lot of people don't know, a lot of, like, totes and construction boxes and stuff like that have these trays in there to, like, hold your tools or napkins or rags or whatever you really want to hold in there. So I had a family come through who spoke majority Spanish and then a little bit of English. But, you know, they had come through my line and I was like, hi, how are y'all today? A lot of the family kind of looked at me weird. So, you know, I was basically talking to them and trying to get them set up, and they had a bunch of these construction boxes. So I was like, hey, I'm going to look through these construction boxes to figure out just to make sure that all of y'all's trays are there, because a lot of people take these trays out and put them into their boxes and try to take more than one tray, which, by the way, you can get these trays on Amazon for like $3 to $4, and we don't sell them extra. So, all I did was like, hey, I'm going to check y'all's trays. Now, also, we're supposed to check totes to make sure that nobody's stealing, but I always make sure to check the tote in a way where it doesn't seem like I'm trying to see if they're stealing or not. Sorry, I'm so congested. Anyway, so at this point, I had let them know and everything like that. And so I went around and I was helping people. It was a very, very busy day. Like, November is a very busy month. So one of the hardware associates was basically looking for one of the trays, because a guy was buying one of the last construction boxes and it didn't have any in it. So she came through and, sorry you guys, I don't know why this keeps moving so much. But she basically came through and just checked their trays once again, just to kind of figure out what was going on. Like, if they maybe had an extra one by accident or anything like that. And let me tell you guys, this family starts screaming, like starts getting so agitated with her. And I turn around and I come back and I'm like, hey, like, what's the problem? And they're like, you already checked the tote and now she's checking the tote. Like, we're not stealing. This is this. This is this. And what they didn't know is that the hardware associate that checked them was actually half Hispanic and just very white passing. And they were trying to say that we were racially profiling them. However, my boyfriend's black and she's half Hispanic. So I'm just kind of wondering what's happening here. You know what I mean? So I let them know, I'm like, hey, we're just checking the trays. Like, a lot of people try to take some extra trays and we're missing one. Like, she's just making sure that y'all have the trays. Like, truthfully, that's what she was looking for. She was not checking to see if they were stealing. She knew I probably had already done that. She just knew how many trays were supposed to be in there and just double checking me. And let me tell you guys, I literally was helping other people and this family was following me around. And like, I literally like turned around and I was like, y'all are good, y'all are good, y'all are good. And they did not leave. Like, it took them 10 to 20 minutes to finally leave. I was like, you know what I mean? I told them in Spanish that they were good and they finally left. And it was so crazy though. Like, one of them was following the hardware associate around, they were following me. I thought that was so strange. And I was like, it's nothing to do with anything. We're just making sure that everybody has the right amount of trays. Craziest thing I think I've ever went through at that store. I mean, maybe not craziest thing, but one of the craziest, because like, what? Like, they went as far to try to get a manager over there to try to like prove that I was wrong. And I let them know like, hey, I am a manager. Like, this is the tea. And they were like, oh. And they didn't give me a bad survey. So, what's up? What's up? And people are so like that with self-checkout. I don't know what it's up. Like, one day I was helping this guy get a staple gun. And I asked him, I was like, because with tools that are locked up, I'm supposed to walk it to a register. So I told him, I was like, do you want register 1 or self-checkout? Now, I've had issues with this guy before. One time, me and a different associate were loading up something for him on a cart, like some really heavy items. And I didn't have to do that. I was very nice because we were shorthanded. And I remember he disappeared, did not help, did not do anything. And, which was kind of weird. Like, we had loaded everything up and it was really, really heavy material. And he just disappeared, like, never came back, never bought it. Like, it was literally sitting up there for 2 hours. I thought that was weird. Now, I came over there and I was helping him with a gun. Like, it was locked up and, I had to walk it up. And the thing is what people don't realize is that where I work, I do not get a discount. I do get benefits, like they pay, for my college. I get healthcare and time off, paid vacations, things like that, which I would rather. I work at a hardware store. I don't shop at a hardware store. A lot of people are like, oh, you don't get a discount. Oh, you don't get a discount. I get so many benefits, you guys, like so many benefits that it's not even funny. So, let me explain this a little for you. So I do not get a discount, and basically our Christmas party every year, we get a gift and, you know, we get a very amazing dinner. I just went actually, and it was very, very fun. It was last Sunday. It was like 2 days ago. Let me tell you guys, with the Christmas party is not like a free thing I just get to go to, okay? Every credit card that I get for the company, or, you know, like every contest that I have to go through and raises money for this Christmas party. Like, we have to raise money for our Christmas party. The company gives us like a low level amount to do for our Christmas party, but it's not enough for like all of the associates to get gifts and like all the fun stuff that we like to do. So the Christmas party is really not free. It is a year-round thing. We plan it for 12 months, literally 11 months out of the year, and fundraise for it 11 months out of the year. And so, you know, the only thing that I really get is benefits and a really good base pay, which is honestly amazing. Retail companies usually do not give you that much. So I'm very thankful to where I work. But anyway, this guy, I'm helping him with a stapler, and I come down and I'm like, hey, do you want self-checkout or register one? He's like, I don't do self-checkout. I don't get a discount and I don't get a holiday meal. So I'm not doing it. And I said, LOL, I don't either. I said, LOL, I don't either. And he just looks at me and he goes, what? And I said, I don't get a discount. And on top of that, I have to raise money for my holiday party. So I don't really know what you're talking about. And he just kind of looked at me and just really honing in on me, because respectfully, like, how are you going to tell an employee that, oh, I don't get paid to do that? Okay, and anyways, I brought him up to a register and he was just going on this tangent about everything under the sun. And he told us that there should be a policy saying that customers should always be right. And I said, customers are always right in a matter of taste. And if you guys Google the customers are always right policy, that actually goes up there. It's not for like hardware, like anything like that. It's more for like a restaurant setting from what I understand. But yeah, anybody who thinks that there should be a policy where the customer is always right, you're an actual dumbass. Like, I'm sorry. And that's saying that as someone who is a consumer. I'm a consumer of so many big retails and I go into so many stores. And I have never said that. I have never, ever said that, because the customer is not always right. Like, the customer is not clocking in for 8 hours a day and working on this floor. So therefore, they're not right majority of the time. And y'all can hate me for that, for the comments, but I'm literally, y'all know I'm right. And it's such, like, it wasn't really a Karen moment, but I had to put it in there because it is giving like, oh, you're better than people because you won't do self-checkout. Like, it makes no sense. Not to mention, I only get 1 or 2 cashiers and then someone to work self-checkout. Like, it's not like I have a team of cashiers. And only that, 2 cashiers could be running the registers all day long, and that's how the company would put it. You know what I mean? If I didn't have the self-checkout. Self-checkout is kind of like one of the worst things to happen to retail in terms of money. But so many people like it. Like, whenever I close it, people literally bitch me out because it's closed. But then when it's open, people are bitching me out that it's open. So I literally just don't even know what to say to that. However, this next story really brings me to a place of pure anger. And it annoys me. It absolutely annoys me. Okay? But anyways, so for this next group of people, this one was honestly really trifling. So if you guys do not know, most hardware stores have something called a bulk price. So basically, whenever you're looking at the thing and it says, oh, you could buy this many or more and get the bulk price. So these people had brought in some molding, and usually molding is never 3 or more, or buy something, it's usually 4 or more. So they had came in, I was on my I was like, I have like a desk situation. It's really like an old register. We just turned into like a desk because, you know, we need a place to like manage everything and make sure that everything's right. So I was doing my reports basically on my little desk. It's basically like an old register. And let me tell you guys, I have never come across customers like this before. So they came in and they're like, hey, we bought 3 of them. They're supposed to be bulk pricing. And I was like, okay. So I, on this desk, there's still a register right there where I can like pull things up if I need to. So I immediately like typed in all the numbers and stuff like that. And I had put 3 in there and it didn't discount. Now I had put 4 in there and it discounted. So as I, had noticed this, I had let them know. I said, hey, it's 4 or more, not 3 or more. Well, the wife gets so aggravated and so pissy, and she's like, so why didn't we know that? Like, this, that, and the other, just going off. And I told her, and I said, ma'am, I said, if y'all want to go grab another one and go to service desk, they will happily assist you. There's really nothing more I can do because all my side is just for checking out. The other side is for returns. I have no control over that. And she starts going off again. And I'm just like, she said it was 3 or more. It got to a point where she went to the back, took a picture of the exact one she had, and brought it up to me. And I literally showed her, I was like, 4 or more. She starts going off on another tangent, saying that it's a bait and switch, this, that, and the other, how we're scamming her. And I'm just like, I don't really give a fuck. Anyway, so, I let her know. I'm just like, ma'am, there's really nothing more I can do for you. You can grab another one and go get it discounted, or you can just be happy with it. And then at a certain point, I let her know. I said, this says you went to self-checkout. Y'all should have noticed that there wasn't a bulk price on it. Like, you would have, you know what I mean? And her husband even agreed with me. Like, he was like, yeah, like, you should have noticed that there was no discount. You come here all the time with me. Like, you know what a bulk discount looks like. Like, whenever you scan something up, it literally says in big yellow letters, instant volume savings. And yeah, she goes, well, we're going to go refund it. And I said, okay, on the other side. Because here's the thing, I will always go in above and beyond. Like, I know this makes me sound so awful as a customer service person and as a manager, but I gave you a solution. Like, if I give you a solution to your problem, why are we continuing on? You know what I mean? Like, why are we still doing this? Why are we still, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't make sense to me. And, she went up there and didn't have the product. So they literally said, oh, I'm sorry, we cannot refund you until you have the product. So she came up later and I was actually up there doing something and I kind of forgot about it. And not to mention, like, if I've only dealt with you one time and it wasn't like a conversation I care to remember, I'm not going to remember who you are. So, she comes up there, she's griping, she's bitching, she starts talking shit about me, like I can hear her, and I turn around and I kind of remember who she is. And I'm just kind of rolling my eyes at this point, and I walk up and I'm like, I'm sorry, ma'am, like that, blah, 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 blah. They refund her, and I'm like, have a nice day. Thank you for shopping with us. And she just looks at me weird and leaves. But, like, what's the point? At the end of the day, what's the point? Like, you got your money back. You could have just bought another one. Like, your husband's looking at you like you're fucking stupid. I don't really know what to do at this point. And I think it's so funny when, like, even your own husband's not on your side about it. Like, that's when you know you're in the wrong and you just don't want to be wrong. My question is how are these women, like, and not, like, being, you know what I mean? I'm a feminist icon. One thing about me is, I'm for the girls, not for guys. And it sounds like I'm such, like, going for the straight men right now. And that's absolutely not the case. Like, I am pro-women any time of the day. But, like, don't be stupid. Like, even if this was like I've talked about the dudes, just don't be stupid. Like, even if your wife or your significant other is going after you, like, you're absolutely stupid. Case closed. But anyway, you guys, that's all for me today. I've had a lot of probably worse experiences at work that I've already talked about on here, but there was a lot that's been happening lately that I feel like I had to tell you. Now, I believe people are Karens whenever you're rude for a stupid reason. And I think that all of these reasons came up and it just shows how dumb a lot of customers are. So just don't be those customers, you know what I mean? Anyway, you guys, I absolutely love you. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys like this video and subscribe, and not to mention follow me. There's a link in my description with all of my links in it, so have fun. Love you, and have a great day.